meeting for the Park Department, and before we do we please stand for pledge allegiance to the flag? I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing. At this time, I'd like us, from within our hearts, to think about our veterans. We're coming up on Veterans Day, and we should think about those that sacrificed their life for us to be here today. And also, let's think about the ones that we are enjoying their life with us today. Thank you very much. Nice to see a nice crowd here tonight. We've never had anybody come to our meetings before. This will be a first. Okay. Under the agenda, I'll make a motion for the prior minutes of the meeting.
I second the motion. All in favor?
Yep, a motion made, I'll second it. All in favor? Aye. Sorry, one other member, Ken Ross, is not with us tonight. He got in an accident the other night at the Four Corners there at Mary's Pond and Walnut Plain. So he's kinda banged up, so just keep him in your prayers. He's gonna be okay, but, that's why he's not with us tonight. Thank you. Okay, bills. We only have one bill to pay, and it's our electric bill for Eversource. It's in the amount of $186.27. So, we motion on that, please.
I'm gonna make a motion to pay this bill.
Okay, I'll second it.
All in favor?
All in favor? Thank you. We'll keep the lights on for a while. Okay, also, on the agenda is, the playground contract. We're going to open it. We've had an additional $7,000 donated to us, and, we would like to add another piece to the playground. We've asked, a playground yeah, from, she's representing Miracle Playground, who's gonna be doing the playground for us. And, it's, tell me, I forgot your name.
Cindy Mack.
Cindy Marr, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
It's okay, that goes every now and then. All right, she's gonna give us a little presentation on the park and what kind of piece of equipment. Would you like to come in? What kind of a piece of equipment we can put in the park for the $7,000 that we have extra? So, I'd like to turn it over to you.
Okay, do you want me to explain how the current design meets?
Yeah, just give them a quick
ADA?
overview over it.
Okay, so the current design has a playground structure, and I know this is a very small document, but I'm sure a lot of you have already seen it. It has a playground structure for ages 2 to 5, and that structure is, it meets ADA because it has a transfer point, and it has steps, and no steps are higher than 6 inches in height change. So the entire structure is ADA accessible, okay? Any freestanding item in a public park is considered ADA accessible as long as it has an ADA accessible path to that piece. So the balance beam, the little bouncer here, and the swings are considered ADA accessible because they will have an ADA accessible path going from the gate to those pieces. Now, we've added a really cool piece over for the older kids, 5 to 12. This is a spinning net climber. And that is also ADA accessible because it has a big opening that allows a child to transfer out of a wheelchair and get inside the climber so that they can play along with other children. So this whole design actually exceeds the ADA guidelines. Okay, for surfacing, we're using engineered wood fiber, and then the accessible paths are going to be made using these mats, which are certified by the Massachusetts Architectural Access Board as being ADA accessible over engineered wood fiber. So we exceed the ADA guidelines for this park,
All right, thank you.
okay?
Now, we would like to put in another piece of equipment, and do you have, some recommendations for
Well,
us?
I have one that I think would be a great addition to this park. It's a xylophone that gets installed at ADA height so that a child in a wheelchair can roll up to it and play, and the other children can certainly play it as well. And the cool thing about this, I remember when we first released this product, they actually brought it to our meeting, and I remember sitting there going, I'm gonna go up there and clang it, and it's just like gonna be metal hitting metal. This is actually, is a musical scale, and you could teach a music class on it. It's beautiful. The sounds it makes is absolutely gorgeous, and this is a big hit with the kids. The price of this piece is $59.29, but you have to add labor for assembly, you have to put in the footers, and you have to add extra mats, cause now we need to make a path to this piece so that it's fully ADA accessible. So that eats up the $7,000 right there.
Okay, so we can open up this, vote to allow additional pieces in the park without going out to bid, because it is not more than 10% of the total cost of the project. So therefore, we are going to install hopefully another piece of equipment.
That's great. Oh, we're down to a 4-week lead time.
Fun?
We're down to a 4-week lead time, so when I put the order in, this equipment can be here in 4 weeks.
Okay, and that total price for that,
If we add that piece.
if we add that piece,
Total price would be, hold on, and I'll give you this copy after I'm done, $81,724.68,
okay,
and you can have this.
that's a little bit more than what we have right now.
It's less than 7,000 more. It comes in it's just like 6,000 something
Oh,
more.
okay, it comes
Yeah.
down to 6,000,
And some,
oh, all right.
yeah,
Okay,
so
that's
it's
what I was-
just under
that's what I wanted to
7,000
know.
more.
That, wanted to make sure it came under 7,000.
Yep.
Okay?
Mhm.
Jackie, are you satisfied with that piece of equipment?
The nice thing about this is a 2-year-old can use it, a 13-year-old can use it, a parent can use it. Somebody who's musically inclined, I'm not at all musically inclined, but you can actually play music on it, it's really cool.
Just so I get another,
That'll bring with that new piece of equipment, it'll bring the project up to roughly, about $80,000.
yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
That brochure has a variety of music pieces in it, but
Jackie, you satisfied?
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay. David, are you satisfied with that piece of equipment?
Yes.
Yeah. As long as we can come in the budget?
Yep.
Okay. I make a motion that we add that, I entertain a motion that we add that piece of equipment to the playground. Okay, a motion been made in second, all in favor? Aye. Okay, and with that, I have a contract to be signed. It's already been signed by Cindy, It's already been signed by, town administrator, and it just needs our signature. So I didn't need a motion, we sign the contract, and we can, I can just, put it anywhere in here. Yeah. Okay, thank you very much. We thank you very much for your donation. It's well appreciated. And we thank the town of Rochester for their donation to make this project go forward. We're at the point now, we can dig and start installing this project, and it's underway. So therefore, we're gonna move right on as soon as we can. We got a 4-week time limit. We'll get everything under control, and, we'll start installing. So hopefully, we'll be done, and everything will be completed by, the spring, cause I was told they work, during the winter. Right?
Right.
Okay?
Mr. Chair?
Right.
Mr. Chair?
Tri-Town for Children, we appreciate it, because you have to remember, going forward, this is, excuse me, I'm talking. When I'm ready, I'll recognize you.
Thank you.
Okay? This is something that's been long overdue. It's been something that the park has been wanting to do for a long time. One of the biggest problems that's held us back a lot is funds. Everybody knows what it costs to run a house or a business, and everything is very, very expensive today. We've done the best we can, for what we have. We have one of the finest parks in the South Coast area. It's well sort of, everybody wants to be there, everybody wants our fields. We had very little interruption in fields this year for anything, baseball, soccer, because we don't only do baseball, we do baseball, soccer, we do basketball, we do, pickleball, that's our new one this year. Pickleball, we do girls softball, so we have a lot of projects going on in the park. And this is gonna make the park, up to what it should be. The equipment that's there now, I'm gonna make a motion in a minute that we put that up. We notify the Board of Selectmen that, equipment that is there now is surplus equipment, so people can bid on it if they want it, as is, where is. And therefore, then we can clean out that area. We're gonna be cleaning out where the basketball courts are. There are gonna be no basketball courts. We're putting all our money into the playground. The basketball courts were gonna cost us roughly, about $22,000 to repair them and put all new ones in. So we decided we're gonna put the money into the parks for the children. The trees that are there in the playground area are gonna be taken down, we're gonna clean it all up, and that's gonna become our additional parking area. The playground is gonna be, if you look at, Gifford Field, it's gonna be back in the corner, opposite, right up from where the old playground is, and it's gonna be in the corner in that basic vicinity. So it will be out of the way, it'll be out of the traffic way, and then, it's gonna be a great location. So, that's a little synopsis of what's gonna go on down there, and I'm kind of excited to see this go forward, cause I think it's very important, that we bring everything up to snuff that we have in the parks, so that everybody can enjoy them. So I entertain a motion that we put that old playground equipment up for surplus property.
No, I second.
Okay, motion was made, I'll second it, and we will notify the Board of Selectmen that that will become surplus property. So if anybody wants to bid on it, we'll accept bids in a sealed envelope marked, park equipment, playground, and, we'll hold it open for 2 weeks as of tonight, and then we'll open the bids if there's any. Okay? We've done the change order. We signed that. Looks good. Okay. I'm gonna allow a little bit of, questions and answers. 1 minute, dear, I'll get to you. I would like to have all the questions go through the chairman of the board, so that we're not bickering back and forth between each other. So all the questions will come through here, and we'll recognize you, and I'm gonna give you a short period of time to give us your synopsis of what you wanna talk about, and then we're gonna move on, because, we're on our way right now, we're going, okay? So, I understand you had your hand up first, but I recognize the lady before you.
That's, I'm fine.
Go ahead, ma'am, and please, would you please state your name and
Yeah.
your address?
Sure, Karen Nordet, I live right across from the field on Mary's Pond Road, directly across the street
Okay, yep,
from that gray house, that was the church's house. And I have grandchildren, and I'm thrilled that the playground is getting an update, I'm thrilled. My only concern is, will there be room to expand it? Like, hopefully more money will come in, because I honestly don't play across the street, cause it's not that great. There's amazing playgrounds out there in the world.
yep.
Tiverton, Rhode Island has an amazing one, we call it Pulley Park, the pulleys, the kids love the pulleys. I'd love to see a pulley go in. And the music, it's okay, but it only really one kid. Like, are there gonna be any saucer swings? Those are big right now.
There is room for expansion,
Okay,
if money is appropriated,
okay.
yes,
And
guaranteed.
Okay, I have one last question. Thinking about the handicapped accessibility and the elderly people, is there any way we could have a paved path going around the whole perimeter so people can enjoy walking, they can push their strollers, people in wheelchairs can enjoy some activity?
We can take that under consideration, yes.
Just to,
Yeah.
have that, and maybe picnic tables that have handicapped accessible, so they
Yeah.
could go up to them. I'm just thinking like long-term.
No, that's fine.
Okay.
And, you have to give us a little bit of time,
Okay,
because we're gonna get this playground up and going first,
okay.
and then hopefully, yes, we will add those other
Okay,
things,
okay,
because there is room for expansion
okay.
and to better it also.
Is there gonna ever be a committee? Cause I'd love to be part of the committee. I
If-
love playgrounds.
Well, if somebody wants to start a committee, that's fine with us.
Okay.
There is a group of people that have Friends for Library.
Mhm.
I mean, there's nothing that says somebody can't put a group together, Friends for the Park.
Yeah, okay.
But they have to remember
Mhm,
that whatever goes on in the park,
mhm.
in either Dexter Lane or Mary's Pond,
Right.
has to come before the park department.
Of course.
The
Right.
selectmen don't have any say,
Mhm,
not that we don't accept it,
mhm,
but, certain organizations don't have any say.
mhm.
All the rules and regulations come through the park department.
Okay.
We are elected officials to serve your needs.
I have one last question. Is there any way the batting cages can be moved to the back of the property?
The what kid
The
there?
batting cages that are on the front, on the main road?
We can talk to
Can
them.
they be moved back, because there's balls hitting my property constantly, and one day a ball is just gonna hit a car.
We'll talk to them about it.
If it could be pushed back, that would be
Okay.
amazing. Thank you.
Excuse me, ma'am, but the gentleman had his hand up first.
So just two questions.
Your name, please?
Lazaro Rosa.
Okay.
You mentioned additional
A little
donation.
louder, please.
You mentioned that there was an additional donation.
Yes,
Question one is, where did that donation come from?
come from, Tri-Town for Children.
Okay?
Thank you.
And so I guess that might have answered my second question. why was just one person in the room allowed to approve the added piece versus all the town residents?
Because they are,
I understand
because
now.
they are, excuse me, because they are the donors,
Understood.
okay?
Yep, I need to know.
All right, yes, ma'am, your turn.
Since we're spending $80,000. Oh, Sarah Johnston, 120 Marion Road. Since we're spending a fair amount of also town money as
Could you
well as.
please speak up?
Since we're spending a fair amount of town money as well as a private
No, ma'am,
donation,
we're not spending any town money.
we're spending money that was through an act where the
Right.
town got money.
And if we don't spend it, we lose it,
I understand that.
okay?
Since we're spending all this money, and I think the woman next to me brought up quite a few points about having a general overall plan for that park, as opposed to taking one idea and plonking it down and not having an overall plan for where parking goes, for the ball games, for where the batting cages are, to make the park more accessible to other people. Why can't we spend some of our grant money for a master plan for that park before we start installing things?
Well, at this point, we're going forward with the park.
I don't understand why there can't be a
Okay.
master plan.
Well, we're way ahead of that right now.
No, but you don't have to be.
Well, at this point, ma'am, the park is going forward as it is.
Whether anyone likes it or not.
Unfortunately,
That's the case.
That's what
That's what
happened.
you have decided.
well, that's what, everybody
Okay.
can't be
No,
satisfied.
not everybody, just
Right.
you are comfortable with this.
We are comfortable, yes, we
You
are.
personally.
Pardon?
You personally.
Personally, yes, I am.
Yes,
One
and that's
hundred
it.
percent.
That's the end.
Well, no, because I have other members of the board that are satisfied also.
Oh,
It
really?
just so happens that I'm the chairman. So therefore, I am very satisfied. That's my honest opinion. You gotta remember, this project that's going forward is for the children. I mean,
Everyone's
anybody,
concerned about the
anybody,
children.
anybody that tells me, oh, it's somebody's getting something or getting something for this, no, it's for the children to upgrade the park that we have. And if you don't think it needs upgrading, then
Well, that's
you
because
haven't-
it's never
you
been
haven't seen it,
maintained.
Okay? Next, yeah.
Mr. Park Commissioner.
Oh, and young lady right here.
Yeah, Deborah Tolstenov, I live at 174 Neck
Little
Road.
louder.
Excuse me, okay.
You have to yell. He's-
Deborah Tolstenog, I live at 174 Neck Road.
Okay.
I'm just gonna piggyback on what these other two women have said, and that's that I wish that this was brought to the town meeting, because another facet of this, I agree with everything that's been said, is that in terms of maintenance, at some point along the way, there needs to be maintenance to this park, whatever it looks like, whatever's in there. And there may need to be some investment in terms of tax money, and everybody in the town should have some say in how this goes down, because otherwise, in 10 more years or 5 more years, it's gonna be looking bad again.
Just
You
like
can't
extra
just sort
land
of
does.
throw it in there and
Okay.
then not do anything to it.
The main reason why we're moving with this as we are is because the ARPA funds have to be spent or earmarked before the end of this year. And if we go to town meeting, there's not gonna be a town meeting until, probably January of next year, so we'll lose the ARPA funds. So what's gonna happen is if you go forward with it, you gotta remember, it's a tax dollar, it's gonna go on your tax rate. Everybody now is gonna see their tax rate when it comes up, and you're not gonna be happy. So therefore, we're building this without any tax rate increase to your property. This is free money.
I hear that, but what about maintenance? What
Okay.
about,
Well,
continuing need? What about an overall plan?
maintenance we take care of like we have right along. Okay?
You haven't right along.
Yes, ma'am.
There must be a way to spend the $40,000 before January 1st, part of it on a master plan, part of it on prepping things. You could get a master plan done within a month.
Probably
And then
can.
you could start
But
prepping things.
what
And
would
you
you-
could be getting bids
But-
on park equipment.
What's happening is, we were told, we've gotta spend that money before the end of the year. We have been looking for a long time to put this playground in perspective for the town. We had the opportunity, we had a very gracious organization wanna donate to the park, and it was matched by the town. So therefore, we're going forward. There's nothing else I can tell you. It's too late for a master plan or
No,
anything else.
it's not.
Oh, yes, it is.
I
Yes,
totally
ma'am.
disagree.
It's already been signed and sealed. We're done.
What if other residents or other businesses wanted to donate money? It was never
You-
opened up as an option.
Excuse me. You can still donate money to the park if you'd like. We'll take your money.
Oh, thank you.
Billy?
Take my money and someone else's idea. Okay.
Mr. Chairman, am I correct in assuming that at our next annual town meeting, anyone can get up when your budget item is coming up and add money to your line item?
Yes,
And
and
also at that time request a money funding for a master plan at that time? Would that not be appropriate?
it can do, yes, it is appropriate to do it at the annual town meeting if someone wants to do it.
There you go.
So that's
That's an
easy.
option for the issues I'm hearing behind me.
That's right. That's your option. Go to town meeting. Yep, I see you, don't worry.
Okay.
I'll give you a couple of minutes, go
All right.
ahead. I don't want a presentation. You wanna ask
No,
a
I
question, just ask, but I don't wanna do a presentation.
Yeah, so I'm Nate Reese. Did you guys get my correspondence message?
Well, I'm sorry, but, I don't get your correspondence.
I sent emails
I don't
to
get
all the board members
Be-
and also.
Well, maybe the other board members, but I don't, because I don't do Facebook, I don't do chit chat, I don't do none of that
You
stuff.
have, you have an email?
I got a phone, if I need help, I call.
You have an email account?
My wife knows where I am.
Smart man.
That's all I know about,
So you
okay?
don't have an email that we can send
I
stuff
don't
to?
even, I don't do emails. I don't do none of that. I'm old fashioned.
So
You
how
want
do we
me?
commu- how do we
You want
communicate
me?
with you?
Call me up. 774-201-1577.
Okay.
That's my number.
Alright, for this man's point of the master plan come up in April, you're talking about digging holes and creating construction before the plan is done, so that's silly, because what if you put a spot for the playground, and you're like, hey, this is totally messed up, like, we shouldn't have it here, oh, it's already there, oh well. So
We're
it doesn't
going
make
with
sense,
a-
you wanna
We're
start
going
with
with
a
a very
plan,
reputable company.
you wanna start with a plan and
What
execute
company?
it. That's the way it makes sense, like, you don't just
Okay.
start digging holes and building stuff, then make a plan, like, right?
We got a plan. It's in place. And the park commission agrees with it.
So you have the parking spaces laid out on a diagram, anything, just it's all up here?
Not yet. We'll get there. Don't worry. We gotta start little.
Yeah.
A little at a time, little at a time. In due time, you're gonna be very happy with what you see.
So Cindy
Okay.
mentioned that
Thank you.
Cindy mentioned that the playground is ADA accessible with the paths, but the paths are going to structures the kids can't use, like the swings. If you're in a wheelchair, you can't get on the swing, so I can get to the swing, but then I can't actually swing, so like, what's the point
have-
of having those paths there?
You have to give us a chance. You have to give us a chance to get this under control. And once we do, we can add to these other things that are gonna make it more feasible for everybody. But you gotta give us a chance. It's for some reason, there's a group of people that don't wanna give this program a chance. And what you gotta do is put your big boy pants on and support this group, period. That's all I'm gonna tell you. I don't wanna hear Facebook with this one and that one and this one and that one. I don't wanna hear that. Put your effort into the playground for the park.
I sent you guys an email saying I want
I
to.
don't get emails. What did I tell you?
David, did you get my email? Did you see it?
You should be getting
One of the commissioners got my email.
But you don't have to answer them either.
Well, I'm just saying, I wanted to bring up points about the park.
Okay, you're all set. Who's next? Yes, ma'am.
Robin Roundsville, can you tell me reference to an extra donation of $7,000 that enabled you to buy this other piece of
Yeah.
equipment, correct? Can you tell me if there were other donations, either
No,
from-
ma'am.
No, I haven't asked the question yet. if there are other donations, either from private citizens or groups banding together, would they also get to determine what pieces of equipment?
Yes, ma'am.
Their money, so
Yeah.
if, let me finish, so if 10 of us got together
Yeah.
and donated $30,000, we
Yeah.
could say, this is what we want in this playground,
We
and
will
that
put
would
it.
happen?
We will put it,
Really?
guaranteed.
What if there's not space because you haven't
There
done a
is
master
space.
plan?
We have space.
But you haven't taken the time to do an overall view, an overall picture, and plan things out. If the ARPA money needs to be spent by the end of the year, spend it doing site work, spend it putting a fence up. Those are things that are gonna need to happen.
We gotta start somewhere, so
There is
this
a
is where,
fence in the.
we gotta start somewhere, so
It's
this
gonna cost
is,
money to do site work and all that.
we gotta start
A
somewhere.
master plan.
And
Jeff
this,
Eldridge
this is
is
where it
doing the
started,
sidewalk.
excuse me.
Oh.
Who is?
All right,
Yeah.
any,
Yeah.
yes, ma'am,
Highway department.
yes, ma'am?
I'm Victoria Bradshaw. Thank you for spending the ARPA funds on an actual concrete thing and not, some plan. That always gets me when you just do a plan and not actual something concrete. But I do have a question, when you were saying where it was going, when you're driving in, is it on the left back or the
When-
right back?
If you drive in to Gifford Park,
Yeah.
you drive past the snack shack,
Yeah.
and you go all the way around, and there's a conservancy along the wood line. We're gonna be up there in the corner,
Right hand corner?
way up in the corner. You know where the playground is
So
now?
where the playground is now, but back?
It's gonna be pushed back
Okay.
up into that corner.
And when the, everything, the playground and the basketball are taken out,
There will be no basketball.
when they're taken out, when
That
all
will be
stuff's
additional
taken out,
parking.
will you be able to drive, cause now you can't really drive all the way through, cause
No.
it's, so now will you be able to drive all the way through there and there'll be parking where that,
You'll be able to drive up to the playground, and you'll be able to park
so
up
you don't have to go
close.
all the way around it?
No, ma'am.
Okay, good.
It'll be just like it is now.
And
You'll be able to drive in.
I understand the size doesn't wanna be any bigger because there's definitely a premium on parking for the baseball field, so I understand that, so, thank you for doing this.
Okay. Excuse me, in the back.
Yeah, David Orancio, 38 Box Road Drive. So just to give some insight on the financial.
David, can you speak up?
Sure.
I have a
Sorry,
hearing
I have a
problem.
cold, so. To give some insight to the financial process as a member of the finance committee, all town boards, departments have all been told over the past years to level fund. The finance committee dealt with a massive budget deficit last year, and it took a lot for our group and the town to come to a level funding. So, from that perspective there, the ways that if you would like to increase the Parks Department's budget, I would recommend that you attend a finance committee meeting, which is publicly posted and is available for you to attend, to advocate for additional funds to be spent there, or as Mr. Chamberlain already pointed out, you can make a motion to amend the Parks Department's budget on town meeting floor, and it would be considered and taken up by the body there. The other mechanism, which, if you don't know, I'm chairman of the capital planning committee, is that any town board, any town department can come to the capital planning committee and request, funds to be used for a certain project. So there are definitely avenues to expand should this group look to go at that.
Thank you, David. Yes,
Michael Costa, 206 High Street. How large is Gifford Park and how much available space is left? My sense is that it's pretty much fully occupied now.
acreage in the park, you mean?
Yeah, more or less.
I would say, what do you think, David, maybe 12, 14 acres?
Yeah, somewhere around there, 10.
Yeah,
10.
12 or 14 acres.
And how much is the occupied space now?
I would say it's probably pretty close to maybe 3/4 is baseball fields right now. Baseball
And then
field,
in addition to that, the playground area that exists?
this is gonna be down in the back.
Right, but the area that will be parking in a new playground,
Right,
when that's added in, how much additional space is available to develop anything?
I think what's happening, we're swapping playground area for parking to put playground area in another section of the park.
No, my question is, how much more space is available to put anything else?
Oh,
Additional playground area,
We have a-
baseball field or anything?
we have some additional area if we need it. We can go, if we have to, we can go into the, a buffer zone and, go against the conservancy and, work in that area if we have to.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else that didn't speak? You spoke, your turn.
Charles Morgan, 188 High Street, Rochester. You said at the beginning, it's great to see all these people. I came because I saw it announced on the agenda. I'd like to know when it was introduced as new business. I never saw that. I never knew these meetings were happening. That's why I never came.
Okay, well, we generally, our meetings are already always posted. They're always posted on the website. Anytime we have a meeting, it's by law, we have to do it. So it's posted. If you don't see it, or anybody else, that's, I'm sorry, but that's got nothing to do with us.
There's no agenda posted.
Well, we do have an agenda.
Then this wasn't listed as new business on any of the agendas.
Did you see it today?
Yes, I did, and that's why I'm here
Did you see
today.
an agenda today?
Yes.
Okay, normally the agendas are on there, I can't tell you whether they are or not, but we do post it, okay? Yes,
My name's Mary McCann, I live on Neck Road, and I just think people might wanna take a look at a situation in Marion
Yes.
that they're dealing with, where, probably 10 years ago, everybody was very excited, got money, grants to put in a new bike path. That bike path is a wonderful idea, great intentions, but there was never a plan engineered. And now the selectmen are trying to figure out a way to get it under the funding structure to get a plan engineered, but people are out there complaining about it being dangerous and treacherous because of the way the property wasn't, they didn't know enough about what was underneath and all the drainage systems and things. And, it's now, instead of being something everybody enjoys, it's something everybody is really worried about. So I think the idea of just moving ahead quickly because, oh, isn't this great? I think it might be much better to just pull back and take the time to do a plan.
we've been working with this plan for the last 3 months.
So you don't have an engineered plan, correct?
We have an engineer's plan right here. It's being designed by an engineering corporation.
Different from a master
It's
plan, sir.
Miracle Equipment. And they're gonna set it all up and they're gonna install it. It's simple.
It's not the whole site though, it's one piece of the whole property.
Don't talk out of line, okay? Put your hand up and I'll talk to you. All right, anybody else that hasn't spoken before? Go ahead.
Meredith Russo, 301 Walnut Plain Road. I hear what you said about having a plan, but I just want to confirm that you have to spend it's CERCAD funds, is that correct?
We have
Or
to
ARPA funds.
We have to spend the ARPA funds.
So you have to spend the ARPA funds, and the donation from Tri-Town Protecting Children needs to be spent by the end of this fiscal
The whole,
year?
ARPA funds have to be, the law says ARPA funds have to be spent or earmarked before the end of this year.
So that means that you can purchase the playground equipment that's on the plan, and then when does this playground need to be installed by?
We can purchase the playground. Right now,
Yeah.
we're in a position tonight to purchase the playground. We've already signed the contract, purchase the playground and continue on and have it built.
So does it need to be built by a certain date, or those
No.
funds just need to be
No,
spent
it doesn't have to
by-
be built until the next year.
Okay, so would it seems as if it might satisfy a lot of the townspeople to spend the ARPA funds buy the playground equipment that has been earmarked through Tri-Town Protecting Children, and then we could have a committee to be able to add maybe a handicapped accessible swing, or an accessibility swing, or something along those lines,
Right.
and a master plan before all of those items are installed, but they can already be purchased.
Okay.
And we wouldn't lose the funds, is that correct?
Well, if we don't, see, you're correct in one way, okay? But in essence, the ARPA funds will not support this playground alone. They will not. So therefore, we have the ARPA funds and we have a very nice donation to support this. So it's a combination of the two getting together to do the park.
And that only has to happen by December 31,
But
2024.
you can't spend just the ARPA funds and do half a park. So we need the additional funds to do the whole park.
But we only have to purchase, we have to spend the money and have a purchase and sale, or have a contract and purchase the equipment by the 31st of
That's for
December.
ARPA funds.
Correct.
Right.
So then, after that, as long as it's purchased and spent, then we have an unlimited amount of time to make a plan?
No,
Okay, so
because,
what's the timeline then?
okay, I say no because we need the total amount of money to build this playground. We have to have it earmarked. What if we just spend the ARPA funds on part of it and we don't get no more money? What do you got? You got nothing.
You've already got the money.
So
Well,
we-
so you have the, so when do you need to install the equipment by, if you're using the ARPA funds and the,
We're not just working with ARPA funds, we're working with the total package.
so let's talk about the total package. When does the total package say in that contract that this playground equipment needs to be installed
Town
by?
administrator, can I ask you a question? ARPA funds, and we have until next year when?
They have to be allocated, a contract must be signed by December 31st, and then I believe you have an additional year with which to execute on the project.
Right, okay, thank you.
So as long as the funds are spent by the 31st of December, the donation is spent by the 31st of December, we then have until December 31st, 2025 to put them
To build
into
it.
place.
Well, the only thing I will say, and I would need to do more research, so, is you have, you're going into a contract, and, you would, you would have to, if you're gonna change that contract over X percent, that contract is no longer valid.
And what's that percentage?
10%, and that's what we're doing right now. We're changing that, by adding that additional $7,000 item. You're meeting the requirements of your change order. So if, for example, in March, we say, I want to change this all around and add a slide, but we're gonna keep it under the allocated amount. I would have to do research and work with town council, just also to meet our obligations for working through the state bid and our procurement process, as well as the allocation of the ARPA funds, to give you an exact answer on how and when that could change. So I know that's a convoluted response as I need more time, but I would be hesitant to say that we could say, we have allocated all of our money by December 31st, and then we can do whatever we want come next year with that said $81,000. I'm not saying that there could not be additional changes after the fact. I would need to do research to make sure that we would not go into liability in any way by changing it. So the short answer is to be determined.
So in the kind of layman's terms, if we spend this donation and we spend the ARPA funds by December 31st, someone came in and said, I'm gonna give $30,000, would it negate those ARPA funds?
No, so I mean, you are allocating the ARPA funds towards a portion of this playground fund. If someone came in and said, I'm going to donate X for something else, great, it will complement, it would add on, as long as you are not changing the contract.
Question?
Okay.
Well, that couldn't you, wouldn't that?
Excuse me, ma'am.
Sorry.
Excuse me. We're gonna go through the board, we're gonna go through the chairman before.
I am.
We're not gonna be batting back and forth, okay? That's not allowed. You have a question?
No, I have a comment. I've got just to clarify, maybe it's a question, but, so hypothetically, the town could spend the money that is committed through the ARPA and the donation and buy the equipment, put it in a warehouse, and then take a few months to get a plan and complete the more specific design of the whole property, not just those.
I would have to review. I don't wanna say, yes, that sounds great. I would have to get an answer. And so I'm sorry, but I wanna make sure that I'm giving the correct information. I mean, I think that's something that, you know, I could research and get back to you, but, I don't know if that would meet the requirement at this time.
Okay,
So, I don't see why, you know, the implementation date has to be, you have a full year, so, to install. So theoretically,
thank you. Yes,
Roxanne Costa, 206 High Street. Did I understand you correctly when you said that if we go ahead with the installation, it can be added onto in the future?
guaranteed.
Thank you.
You got some money you wanna give us? Come to the board, we'll empty your
I just wanted to
pocketbook.
clarify in my mind, I just wanted to clarify in my mind what you said earlier here.
Yeah. I want your husband's wallet too.
I do have another
Yeah.
question. Meredith Russo, 301 Walnut Plain Road. So is it important for the contract between, Tri-Town Protecting Children and, is it the Park Commission that the contract goes between, or is it the Town of Rochester that the contract is?
The contract is, with the, provider of the playground.
Okay.
And the funds are coming from ARPA funds and our welcome donation.
Is it important for that contract to read that, or is this even something that would be of importance for that contract to read that other playground equipment could be added through other private donations, or
doesn't-
that's not
Meredith,
something?
it doesn't have to be, because that's the sole responsibility and decision before the park board.
So all it is later on, we can add equipment if
You
there's
wanna,
donations.
you wanna add a piece,
Yeah.
you wanna add a piece to the playground, you come to the park department, you give us a presentation of what you would like to do, you guarantee us the money, because we're not gonna put something in without the money.
Yep.
And we would be more than willing to look at it and approve it. I would tell you that right now. That's the bottom line. We're looking for money. This is the first opportunity we've ever had to get money for the park. It's always been put out. And you can only put out so much. We're at a point now where we have a beautiful program going on. It's all approved by everybody, Board of Selectmen, the, Park Commission, everybody. So, I mean, all your questions and answers are fine, but this is going through as it is right now. Now, if anybody wants to come up with more money, we're willing. I got two hands, I can hold it. Bring it on. I'll take it, but if something comes up, I guarantee you, we will put that in the park. Not a problem. Yes,
Okay, two questions. One.
speak up.
Two questions, one's for Cindy and the other one is for you. Cindy, the current footprint, as you have it laid out, how many additional pieces do you believe could fit into that current footprint?
It depends what you pick.
Understood, but,
I mean, if you do freestanding like a Miracle Machine, remember we talked about
Yeah.
those?
Yep.
That can go almost anywhere, but again, I need to make a path to it. So we're talking more mats.
I understand, I'm just
Yeah.
asking how
So,
many
yeah.
pieces could fit
You
in
could
the
put-
current footprint?
You could put, well, we have 3 different Miracle Machines, all 3 would fit.
Okay, all three would fit, that's
Yeah.
awesome. The question for you, is there going to be an overall site plan showing where drainage, curbs, any kind of, the best,
No.
okay.
Anybody that hasn't spoken yet that would like to speak? Yes, ma'am.
Eileen Reese, 28 Sarbath Lane. I just got a question on that mat. Is that mat gonna be throughout the playground?
No, it's paths to each piece on the playground.
So what's gonna be if a child falls off a piece of equipment?
The engineered wood fiber.
It's
If I
gonna be,
like a regular mat that you'd see at other playgrounds, like a,
No, that cost, the cost of that, port in place rubber, starting from raw land, is close to $40 a square foot.
what we're gonna have, ma'am, I don't mean to interrupt, but what we're gonna have, we're gonna have a foot of certified wood chips, if that's something you can believe. And on top of the wood chips are gonna be these mats for transportation, for wheelchairs and so on and so forth. But the idea of the wood chips is, if a child falls, you got a foot of cushion that they fall on. These are gonna be, in areas, so if you got a wheelchair, you can get the child to the swing or the slide or whatever they want. And that's the idea of this on top of the wood chips. That's the main reason. But the wood chips are what's gonna be there to protect the child from getting hurt.
I just, if there's any way possibility that anybody can come up with money to put mats throughout it, because I had a grandchild fall off a monkey bar on his back, and it was in a new playground in Plymouth that had those mats all throughout the park, and he wasn't hurt.
Okay.
So I'm just concerned with a child falling from a piece of equipment on the wood chips, because they're not cushioned, they could be
Okay,
hurt.
the engineered wood fiber is tested for impact attenuation and it meets HIC and GMAX standards under ASTM.
The,
How long does it last?
Yeah.
You have to add to it, depending on use in the park. I would imagine a park like this, every 3 years you'd have to add a little bit more.
in my,
Maintenance.
review of the mats, they're very expensive and they have to be replaced probably every other year because they got all little beads in them that start to bust off of the mat. So therefore, if you send your children there, you're gonna have all those little beads coming into your house. If you have a child or a student's playing football, or lacrosse, or soccer, and they're in one of our high schools, 9 times out of 10, if you got AstroTurf, they put all these little beads in the AstroTurf. So that makes it a little bit more cushion. But what happens, you have to replace them every year because the kids take them home in their clothes and they're everywhere. They're gonna be in your dryers, they're gonna be everywhere. So therefore, we are going with certified wood chips and the mats to the individual piece of equipment. Anybody else that didn't speak yet? Yes, sir.
Yeah, hi, Mike Kovacevich, Neck Road. Question about the plaque. Speaking to you, I think back in July, you informed me that the commission had decided to give Tri-Town for Protecting Children the option to design the plaque. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, and so I heard from the town administrator that it was going to be well, according to what was said at the last meeting, it was going to be a decision between the town select board and park commission.
Let me set it straight. What is gonna go on the plaque is gonna be decided between the donor, Tri-Town for Children, and the park commission. Those are the two people that are gonna decide what goes on that plaque.
Okay, and how about the public money that's going on there? The public has no choice
There's
about
no
what's
public
going.
money going on there.
Yes, there is federal money. I pay federal
It's federal
taxes.
money.
I pay federal
Yeah.
taxes every year.
Yeah, so
It's
do
taken
I.
out of my
So
paycheck,
do I.
so I would like to have a
No,
voice.
let me tell you right off the bat, the sign is gonna be determined by Tri-Town for Children and the Park Commission. Done, done, done.
I have another question for you. If I donated $5,000, would I be able to get my name on that
You
plaque?
bet your life. You bet your life. You bring the money up, I'll put your name anywhere you wanna go.
Well, I have, through my taxes, I have placed a considerable amount of money on federal taxes, which have come down through the Biden administration's AARP funds. So therefore, I mean, I would like to have some say in this, and I know there are others that do. It's not that funny, by the way.
You wanna,
It's not that funny.
excuse me, sir. We're not throwing no jabs here, all
Well,
right?
he still looks at me, I don't appreciate it.
I'll shut you right off. I'll
Go
shut you
ahead.
right off. I don't wanna hear from you.
No?
Anybody
I
else?
think I've heard enough from you too.
Anybody else? If nobody else, I'm gonna adjourn the meeting.
Just have a physical thing.
Excuse me, would you, lady behind, you had something, dear?
I'm actually not from Rochester, I'm from Mattapoisett, I'm here supporting
Are you
Troy.
from Mattapoisett? Well, you use our park.
Children, but I've spent lots of time in that park, but I just want to talk about some federal funding. And if we're going to talk about federal funding and a lot of federal COVID relief grant funding that went to the schools, that the public got absolutely no say in how those funds were spent. And there's questions on authority on how those funds were spent that we can't get an answer of. There's a couple of school committee meeting people sitting here, haven't been able to get responses. So to sit here and say you're not getting an opportunity to have a say in how these COVID emergency relief funds were spent, yes, I think that's a gripe that a lot of us have across the
I'm
board.
not questioning
You don't get
how
to
they
pick
were
and
spent, I'm
choose.
questioning
Excuse
on
me,
the
excuse me,
plaque.
sir. Hey, don't you pay attention when I talk? We're not gonna be going back and forth. Yeah, put me on the movies, I like that. Somebody hasn't spoken yet? Somebody has not spoken? No, you're all done, thank you, you spoke. All right, if there's, yes ma'am, you haven't spoken.
I wanna say thank you to Cindy for
So do I.
the legwork and.
And also,
Thank you very much.
I want to thank the Board of Selectmen for their contribution to this one. They have been working with us right through this whole program, and it's been a plus. You don't get many towns where the Board of Selectmen and other entities work together, but I gotta tell you, they went over and over and over to help us out, any way they could. And our new town administrator, he's number one. He's great. I don't know where we've been the last couple of years, but I'm glad we got him now. All right, if there's no other new people that wanna speak, I'm wanna call for a motion, we adjourn.
May I just ask a procedural question?
David?
I second the motion.
Okay, a motion been making,
I
did
guess
we
you
adjourn?
can.
Thank you very much for coming, everybody. We
Wow.
appreciate it.
It's been a pleasure, just to